All right, welcome to a new episode of Real Estate versus Technology. We appreciate your time, and if you find these episodes valuable, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment below with what you thought about it. We want to make sure that we're adding value to you and your business. We're going to go ahead and bring our co-host in, the one and only Mr. Dan Gandy, and disclaimer, the internet is spotty, so we'll have to see what happens. It might work. If he disappears, he'll be back. What's up, Dan?
Oh, man. Living the dream. People are building a house right up the street for me, and the utility companies are all out and jackhammers and cutting through the street. So,
oh my God,
I may black out for a minute. So,
all right. Well, we're gonna roll with this. We're gonna see what happens. Excited for today's guest, who's doing a good job on YouTube. Been in the business for 20 plus years outside of Orange County. Before we go ahead and bring him on, let's go ahead and kick off our intro. We'll be back with you here in a second, and let's have some fun, shall we? Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate versus Technology, your number one resource to get the inside scoop from top performing real estate professionals. How are they growing their business utilizing technology in today's market? Hear also from top performing coaches that can help and serve you in your real estate business, and also technology providers. Let's go deeper with these technology providers to ask them how they got where they're at today and how maybe their services could better serve your real estate business. A big shout out to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring our podcast. Go ahead and go to liftoffagent.com to learn about their marketing and positioning services to help scale your real estate business. If you haven't already done so, like the episode, subscribe. We want you to comment on YouTube what you learned from the episode and give us a review if you're going to be listening and streaming this podcast. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and enjoy this week's podcast of Real Estate versus Technology. All right, husband, dad, foodie, realtor with Coldwell Banker, the one and only Frank. Welcome to Real Estate versus Technology.
How's it going, Dan? How's it going, Norman?
Doing amazing, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. I heard the plug about the work going on next door. Normally, I would be in my home office. We too are having work inside going down. A contractor showed up unannounced, so we got to get that work done. So I'm outside in my outdoor office, if you will. So thanks for letting me do this outside too.
That's a beautiful backdrop. I got to say, I love the backyard.
Very cool. So it's one of our favorite places to be. So in California, right? We're not known for having big lots out here. Everybody's kind of smushed together. And my wife and I, we found our dream home where we live. It's on 3/4 of an acre. Wow. And when it was one of those, being in real estate, as long as I have, buying multiple properties myself, but me and my wife, when we came in, we were literally like, oh my God, this checks off every box on the dream list that we always tell our clients, right? Put together a pros and cons list. I actually did that, and did it with my wife, and it was a trip how 90% of the stuff on the what we want was here versus the stuff we can live without. And so that was really cool. So so I work outside a lot, and it's been kind of fun.
Hey, I can imagine California outside of Orange County. I mean, the weather looks amazing, and I'm sure it is majority of the time. So that's always a blessing.
Yeah, we're in January, right? Winter. It doesn't suck, guys. It's like 69 degrees. It's sunny. I got a shirt on. You know what I mean? It's like we're very blessed here in California for the weather.
I love that. I love that. And that was one of the reasons why my wife and I moved out to Arizona, because out here, the lot sizes are larger. So we're in a 10,000 square foot lot parcel. And a lot of those houses around here are. So it's like we got out of the Bay Area to be able to kind of find what you found. And same with our backyard. Very blessed to have that too.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Norman, because the family we bought this home from moved to Arizona for 5 acres.
Oh my God.
And this lot was huge already. He's like, we need more. And so we actually still stay in touch with them, which is really cool. They're a really great family.
That's awesome. One thing for the viewers and listeners out there, if you're renting an apartment and then you buy a home, one thing I didn't think about is like, okay, it's cool. 10,000 foot lot, you have some room in the backyard, but your neighbors are still right there. So you still have to be respectful, and you can't be blasting crazy music outside or, doing certain things that is just not going to they're not going to be happy with that. But man, Frank, we're excited to deep dive into your story. So, 20 plus years, been in the business. Before we were on the air, you're talking about how MLS used to be one of these, a book. And my camera came off, but it'll come back on. And so how it evolved, and how you were talking about before, like the MLS, what it was, and then how it evolved into what it is now. And so let's kind of get into it. So why real estate, and how'd you get to where you're at today?
So funny story, real estate happened because I got a football scholarship out of high school to a junior college. And that year that I was supposed to be going to play my senior year, I got hit by a car.
What?
And so I go to the college and I was like, hey guys, I got hit by the car. Thanks for the scholarship. And they're like, well, you have the scholarship already. That's paid for. Do your classes and then come to the practice field and so on and so forth. One of the classes I picked was real estate principles because this was before the internet. So you got to remember, you had to go to a college and take a course for real estate principles, which would then put you in a position to take the state exam. So I was in there, I got interested, and then that's kind of what led me to the, job and career I took was because of that.
Wow.
So where I thought I had a promising, football career being 6'4", 300 pounds, and, was going to be, I had a certain vision. I thought I was going to go. It's always how life changes the course on you, right? And so back then we used to do when I got involved in real estate, the MLS books were like these old telephone books, right? They were huge. They came out every 2 weeks and you had to go to the board to be there to get the first book so you can look through the properties and see which ones you were going to show your clients. And then the MLS was literally, the MLS system was starting to come into real estate. So there was this kind of a battle between the old school realtors who didn't want to use the computer to the new school that really had no choice in the matter. That's all you really knew, right? And so they kind of, being one of the younger guys, the broker figured out this guy knows the internet because he's young. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so that's kind of always been my ebb and flow of real estate with technology. So fast forward to when video started coming around in like 2008 and 9, and we had flip cameras, right? YouTube really wasn't as easy to work and manage. I was doing video then. So I think all of that time of doing really bad videos with bad cameras put me in a position where now I'm very comfortable on camera. I'm always getting complimented. I'm not saying that to be egotistical, but it's just something that I do very well. There was a lot of work ahead of time to get there. What I'm not good at, and I'm learning, is the back end stuff, right? The algorithms and the tags and the thumbnails and the titles. That's kind of the new thing for me to learn because I do videos no problem. But then I started looking at, you actually have to have some kind of inside knowledge of how the rest of the video concept and technology for our industry works so that you can get viewership, branding, so on and so forth. And we really took video to two directions. One was our properties because back then nobody was really doing videos at their homes like they are today, unless you were selling luxury homes in like Newport Beach, Beverly Hills, right? These big areas where you were paying a production team to come in and drop 10, 15 grand. I'm in a city called Yorba Linda, very famously known because it's Richard Nixon's birthplace, right? One of our presidents. So we got a Nixon library. Everybody knows Yorba Linda. It's an amazing town, a beautiful city. I'm very blessed for me and my family to call it home. But we're about 10 minutes northeast of Disneyland, just to give you some context, and then probably about 15 minutes north of Newport Beach. And in that area, we're a bedroom community. What I mean by that is it shuts down by about 8:30, 8 o'clock. Everything's down. So one would think that, to do all the text over there. And that's where we saw the opportunity to start selling luxury homes out here using video and then using the internet to expose our properties. And then the next step for me was, because of my knowledge in the business, 20 something years, 1,000 sales under my belt, there isn't anything I haven't experienced essentially. So giving that information out via YouTube is kind of the new course on that, especially now because, the market's changed. The last 2 years, homes were selling in less than a few days, a few weeks. You didn't really need to educate anybody, right? Whereas now we're going into the market that is kind of resembles the 2015 to 2019 market. Homes took 60 to 120 days to sell, at least in my markets, right? People need to be educated. What can you do to make your home more valuable? What can you do to position yourself for the right sale? What can you do to actually, when you're interviewing agents, right? What questions should you be asking above and beyond, how many homes do you sell? Or when they come with the, top producer magazine ad and they're showing the client, I'm in this magazine. That poor client doesn't know the agent paid to be on there and wrote his own article. So, that kind of information I think is very helpful for the consumer to know, because that allows us, the industry, to up our game, right? Because think about it. We're talking about people's largest assets, one of people's largest assets.
Yeah.
Big deal to just go off of face value from someone's post on Instagram, TikTok, or any type of social. You could be cutting yourself short. You could be risking losing a lot of money, right? So that's kind of my agenda now moving forward is how much education can I bring to the market? And then on top of that, educating my peers as well. Because what I think I've learned is like, if the rest of us are playing at a high level, it's good for everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll do about 30 million in volume. I can tell you over the last 2 years, even though I'm on the listing side of most of those transactions, I'm doing 90% of the work for the selling agent too, because of the lack
Mm.
of skill and the lack of commitment or years in the business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that presents a lot of challenges too. So I feel like just starting to use the platform now for more education of both the consumer and the agents out there. I do deal directly with listings. 90% of my business is listing sold, so I don't do a
Yeah.
ton of buyer sales. But that's specific because I've got 3 beautiful troublemaking children. I've got a wife that I adore. Like to spend a lot of time together. So I had to downscale me working 7 days a week like I used to then bringing it down to 4 or 5 days a week, not really working weekends because my kids are in sports. I coach them. We have a good time. We got church, all that good stuff. And so that's why I put a lot more focus on the listing side, which I know is not
Love that.
popular online because most of it's all buyer content. If you look, at least that's what I've noticed.
I love that, man. I love that. And just taking it from the top, it's funny how you said like it used to be, and Dan will be back. Bad connection. If you're watching on YouTube right now,
Right.
he'll be back. We told you. It's funny how you said it started with a book and then how it
Yeah.
evolved into
Mhm.
now not a book, but it evolved into, I don't know why. Every single time I do that and then my camera can zoom in and zoom out, it like totally makes my camera zoom into me and turn off. But long story short, I love how you talked about you had to adapt. And it's crazy how it used to be a book and then the book turned into the online side of things. And
Yeah.
now it's not just online. There's like Instagram, there's TikTok,
Yeah.
there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's all of these different platforms. And it's like, what platform do you use and how do you use it? And I love that you touched on YouTube. And I see that you do a lot of videos and a lot of video like, what could 1.3 million buy you in, say, Walnut Creek or whatever location it is, which is awesome. And you have your success stories and a bunch of stuff on your YouTube channel. Links down below if you want to check out Frank's YouTube channel. And yeah, of course. And so it's really evolved. And that's where I think that, let's dive a little bit into that. Like when it comes to some of the videos and some of the stuff that you're doing with YouTube and some of the listing videos, what's been some of the feedback that you've been hearing from your clients doing a video walkthrough tour or feedback from a potential buyer that you brought in for the listing?
So feedback has been huge on both the seller side because they see, wow, if I list my home with Frank, he's doing something nobody else is doing here locally, right? On the buying side, what I learned, and we learned this from COVID, our walkthrough videos, because like if you look at my site, we've got 15 and 20-minute property videos, which is really unheard of. You don't really see that, right? Because most agents want to do 3-4 minute. I mean, yeah, it costs us a lot of money, but there's a big ROI on that. But the most important thing for me has been every buyer, whether they're ours or another agent, I always ask, so what draws this property, right? Because I'll be one of the inspections, get to meet everybody. 100% of the time, they always say, that video, I knew the house better than my realtor the first time walking through because they saw the link. They're watching it over and over and over in their bed. I mean, me and my wife did that, but there was no video. We were looking at photos, right? You're looking at all the other content, but or the quote unquote real estate video, which is just a bunch of pictures together and it's a slideshow, but the realtors call it a video, right? There's a lot of that. But the way we did our video, I mean, we're in every nook and cranny. And some of these videos, I'm making eggs, I'm using the kitchen, I'm in the movie room, putting on a movie, because I want you to have the experience, right? And that's me. I love people having a great experience because I enjoy a great experience in every facet of life, essentially. So that's what we try to bring. And with the sellers, they see that right out of the gate. And so that's been really beneficial. But the actual cementing of the property and that one buyer, the video, you can't do any other marketing piece that would do that, not like video. But I understand why a lot of people are hesitant and afraid of that. It just came real natural to us. He's back.
I love that. He's back. Welcome, Dan. Welcome, Dan. And dude, that's amazing. We're just talking about, so kind of tying into now YouTube a little bit, Dan, and we're talking about, for the viewers and listeners out there, just kind of a recap. I love the fact that you do those video walkthrough tours. It just came to mind too, because you talked a little bit about, Frank, you're like, you know, you see a lot of buyer content on social, a lot of seller content, but I think that the one thing that a lot of agents out there that are on your end of the spectrum, on the selling side, you know, you could put the link in the MLS that's getting viewed by hundreds of thousands, if not sometimes millions of people, then that's an automatic drive to your YouTube channel to catch that algorithm and more eyeballs. And it's so true for someone to automatically see the house, know the house, like the house, instead of some of these agents out there. If you're listening and you say you have a video walkthrough tour and it's a picture slideshow, you do not. This is not. You know, you don't. And I love that, because I love how you touched on the fact that, like, you're like, hey, like, people will go and know more about a listing than their own agent because of the fact that you did that video walkthrough tour, which is huge. So do you put the link on all your?
I do. And that's not a jab at the agent. The agents, and this is again, length of time in the business. A lot of the younger agents, their ego doesn't allow them to see that as beneficial, right? When all we did was we just helped that selling agent sell the property, and they don't even have to do anything because I already did it for them. My years of salesmanship and skills in negotiating, we bring that out in the video, because we're not just talking about the bedrooms and bath, talking what also the possibility and the vision of said product. Because I mean, look, the days are gone of people buying a home and doing the whole move in ready. That was always the big slogan we used to use. Move in ready. You just come in the property. Those days are gone. Even if it's move in ready, guys, I sold a $2.5 million home that was just dialed in with every upgrade you can think of from 10 years ago. Guy buys it, drops 600,000 before even moving in. You know, so it's like, if you're going to do that in that price point, trust me, guys, the guy buying a 700, a 500,000, they may not drop 600, but they'll drop 50, they'll drop 40. So you have to be able, in my opinion, you have to be able to tell that next consumer, this wall right here, I already checked it. It's not a load bearing wall. You can knock this out, make it bigger, right? Because that's what everybody wants to do. This wall over here, you can actually make a fourth bedroom. You could do it with a contractor. You can do it under the radar. Choice is up to you, but the potential is here. So that transparency on video, I've learned, has really assisted the buyers in answering all the questions when they come in. Because when they come in, they're looking at the home, they're saying, okay, well, can I do this? Can I do that? I like what's here, but this and that. We do that in the video, so they're already prepped and ready. If anything, they're like, they're almost primed when they're coming. And it's been awesome. So unless my clients have worked with me, nobody really knows what I'm talking about unless you experience it, right? And so experience it in it now the last few years, few hundred times with our sales. It's like, this is the direction. So let's just keep rolling with this until we have to make some other changes. And, you know, the changes now with the clientele is just setting the right expectations. I'm not going to sell your home in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, probably not even in 30 days. We're back to 3 to 4 months, maybe 5 months, depending on the price point, longer than that. So if you could just have some patience, bear with me. This marketing is going to roll out. We're going to get that buyer eventually, but we're looking for quality. We're not looking for quantity. If you want me to bring 50 people through your home this weekend, sure, I could do an open house. If that's your vibe, I'll do that. Go find something to do. I'm going to benefit from it because I'm going to get at least 10 clients out of this 50. I might not get your buyer, though, because it's too soon. Here's what's going on. People start appreciating that kind of vernacular when you talk with them because you know your stuff, right?
Yes.
And we have the backing to prove that, right? We went from book of real estate MLS to the computer to now what we're on the phone, right? So all of my stuff is in here when I'm meeting with a client, and I'll show them right to their face. I don't even take the brochures anymore because it's like nobody wants that. I have it all electronically. I use video, right? Our success stories that you see on YouTube, those have been a lot of fun, you guys, because number one, I noticed nobody does that. So I want, because every sale has a story. And I felt like if you can share that story, I've been fortunate enough, some of my personal clients are open to coming on video and sharing a little bit, which always, cements it even more. But those that don't, I don't push the envelope. I always just like to be in front of the house or inside the house, just say, oh my God, we did it, right? It's our success story, but you cannot believe what we went through here. Because what I have learned in 24 years of doing this, the story of one, in terms of real estate, the story of one is a story of all. So everyone has some kind of circumstance, some kind of situation they went through or they're going through. And so if they hear what my clients went through without divulging too much information, right, being very discreet about personal stuff, but giving them the essence, whether it be we had to go through 2 appraisals, whether it be a property where the buyer fell through 3 times because of financing, because of job loss, because of economy, right? How do we overcome that and still sell the home? Whether it be, we had a situation where there was an addition that was not done with permits, and that actually came to roost during this transaction. Here's all the things we prepared and figured out how to move forward, and just gave a lot of solutions. So that's why I do those success stories, because my personal opinion is it gives homeowners a little bit more ammunition if their circumstances is similar. And I've gotten so much feedback from that it just has me keep doing it. But it's not the feedback you would think. Like, they're not following me on YouTube per se, but they do tell me, Frank, you don't know us, but we've been stalking you on social media, and we love your stuff. We'd like you to come over to the house and talk about selling our home, right? Or I'm out in the community and they're like, hey, you're the guy that we'd like to sell our home. Here's our number. Great, right? So that's been fun. That's why I know it's still working now. If I can figure out how to use the back end, which is, the algorithms, the thumbnails, and all that stuff, I'm sure it'll blow up more, which I'm getting there. But I definitely want to do more of it and figure out ways to bring more value other than just, hey, I listed and sold another house. I'd like to sell yours, right? Like, I know how to do that. Let's give a little bit more to the community, both on the consumer side and both on the real estate side. Because as we give more value to our consumers here, our whole industry rises above that too. And there's plenty of deals out there for all of us. That's what I love.
I love that. I love that. Viewers and listeners out there, if you agree, comment below if you agree. There's a lot to unpack there, but I feel like it's all amazing golden nuggets. I actually watched the video from the testimonial video, and your clients gave you just raving reviews in regards to the way that you do your marketing and the approach. And it made me feel like I already like you, and I can already tell, you're an authority and you're a likable guy, and I could tell that you're a straight shooter. So anyone that's working with you is going to have that confidence. Now that Dan's back, hopefully his internet stays steady. We're going to go ahead and get to the mix-up round, mix things up a little bit, and take it away from the mix-up round, Dan.
Thank you. And thanks for dealing with this internet issue. But speaking of internet, right, outside of your database, like, and past clients, like, where is lead generation focused right now with technology for you?
Technology would be YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the 3 platforms that I'm generating physical business from it. I can connect the dots. Like, Instagram last year gave me 4 transactions. Facebook gave me 3. Right? These are listings and buyer sales. Okay, and that's me not even pushing sponsorship, advertising. That's just me posting my everyday stuff, communicating. Right? Like, I took a page out of Gary V's where he comments and communicates back to everyone. And that guy's hugely successful in multiple businesses. And I always thought, if he could take time to do that, I can do the same for when people reach out to me. And so, and I do that, and people do respond. Oh my God, I can't believe you actually responded. And it's like, now I do try to get them. I get a phone number, because where I am phenomenal is on the phone. That's where my base is from my business, my voice, my inflection, my tonality. And I know what to say and how to say it. And I know how to help people move forward in the goals they're trying to accomplish. So if I can get you on the phone, then we're solid. And that's usually what I use those platforms for.
And through that career journey, was it like, did you have coaches? Like, how did you get so good at the phone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I started out with a coaching organization called Mike Ferry Organization. They were like the founders, right, of every other coaching organization that's in real estate. All came from him. I actually know a dozen of the big ones that are out there now. I met them at seminars when they were agents, and then they went off and did their own thing. So that's where that's the foundation of my business, through phone calling. I also followed other gurus of real estate, Brian Buffini on the relationship side. So like Mike Ferry, I learned how to hunt for new business. Brian Buffini, I learned how to connect and build relationships with my database. And then through that, I also followed Mike Ferry's son, Tom Ferry, who was really all about, Tom's everything, but the one thing for me that resonated was technology and leveraging and team. And so it's like Mike Ferry was where it started for me. Tom Ferry is where it's going to continue to grow and go, essentially. And then through all that, I found people that I just connected with, because myself, I was growing, right? I was going through the maturation process too. So for technology wise, those were the guys, Ferry and Buffini were actually Tom and Mike were the ones kind of pushing me in the doing, technology more. But I was very hesitant because I had so much ingrained in me from the foundation part that I know a lot of people go through that. Or the reverse. People are so ingrained with technology and social, they don't practice on how to actually conversate with human beings and learn how to help them, right? Like, you just saw me on Instagram, right? You should just give me the business. I shouldn't ask you, where are you trying to move to? What are your plans? Why are we moving? What's the goal? What's your time frame? Tell me about the kids. They forget about all that stuff because they think you like me on like 47 of my selfie photos. Shouldn't I just get the biz? Like, isn't that how it works? So it's, it's a double-edged sword, essentially. But hopefully that answered that question.
I love that.
Cool. And to wrap it up, this is just a random question. It's kind of trivia. Do you know who Tim Allen is?
Tim Allen from the sitcom, or Tim Allen, the realtor?
The realtor.
Tim Allen, the realtor. I know his name, and for some reason I can't put a face to it right now. Why do you ask?
Because you're at Coldwell Banker, correct?
Uh-huh.
He's the number one agent at Coldwell Banker in the world.
Tim is out of our Beverly Hills, right? If I'm not mistaken, or he's
Carmel.
Oh, that's right. So Coldwell, yes. So now I know which Tim Allen. And Tim Allen, I mean, there's a lot of Tim Allens, but I don't know him on a personal basis. But I will tell you this: one of the reasons I went to Coldwell, I was with the Century 21 system for the first 10 years of my career. And then I've been with Coldwell now longer because when I decided to get into luxury, I looked at all the companies out there, and it was like, who was the firm commanding the big dog deals? Because that's what I wanted to do, and it was Coldwell Banker. And so that's when I joined. And I've actually gone to. This is what I love about Coldwell, is that they'll have events in Beverly Hills, in Newark, La Jolla, San Diego. I've been able to walk into $10 and $40 million listings put on by these guys, and just learning, oh wow, that's a different mindset, right? That's a different how you sell and do that. I can sell under $1 million homes all day. I can sell up to 2 million. Our market, you start getting into 2, 3. That's our ultra luxury here for where we're located. Not a lot of those sales, but what I learned was a lot of different attitude and nuances in that higher end. So that's not a plug for Coldwell, but that's kind of it is. You have all these amazing agents through the system, but respectfully, I've always never paid attention to who's number one, this has never been my thing. As a matter of fact, my broker came to me because at our office, I was the number one agent, and he was like, "Aren't you proud?" I was like, I have so much more work to do, and I didn't even hit my goal. Like, get that plaque out of here. I need to go do more work, right? But I get it. That's very cool.
And
so
the reason
small world, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I brought it up is that, and I saw a lot of your listing videos and the content he's doing, and I think it would be great. You guys connect. I mean, Tim's a great guy, but Tim, he has mastered the listing video. By the time you're done with it, you're like, all right, I'll empty my bank account to buy this $20 million property.
Right.
And his branding's strong. And this podcast is not about him, but Coldwell's a
I get you.
And I think that says a lot about your brokerage, is because you have somebody like Tim and somebody like yourself where video focused, video. Like the property is obviously going to sell itself, but the video is what gets people there. So
yes. And there's another guy out of our Newport Beach, named Tim Smith. He's a rock star. Look up Tim. So I've been fortunate enough to meet Tim, have drinks with him at our big social gatherings and awards thing. He's amazing. And it's because he'll talk to you and he'll tell you, oh man, go do this, go do that. Or I remember one time I was having a little bit of insecurity about doing a certain video, and he just gave me the quickest pep talk. He doesn't even know he did this for me. But the quickest pep talk to get my head out of my ass and get going and do my thing out here in my market. Right now, respectfully, I'm sure he said that because I wasn't in his market. So it was kind of, and that's what's fun about, collaborating with other agents and learn different things and, that sort of thing. So that's very cool.
Awesome, man.
So awesome. Any other questions, concerns, hallucinations, anything I've left unanswered?
No, you're good. You're good, man. Over to Norm, and we can wrap this baby up.
Wow. Sweet. Thanks for taking on that mix-up round. And I got to say, This has been a lot of fun. And to kind of unpack that really quick, the biggest thing is like you found the coaches that you needed to find to help you with that identifying. And I love how you described it as like your tonality and your approach and your delivery and all the ways that you package yourself and put on the bow and you show up and you show out. And I think that so many agents out there really need, it's like almost like trying to identify who you are yourself. Okay, this is who I am. And then being comfortable 100% good with that. And then go into work, put yourself out there,
Well, I
go
think
to
too,
work.
Norm, not to catch up, but it also comes down to like this is my craft. I have an obsession about my biz and what I do. I went to Toastmasters to learn how to articulate, to learn how to present, right? That wasn't a Mike Ferry thing. That was a me looking at how can I improve more, right? And I think people have to, especially realtors, you got to remember, it's a double-edged sword. We're independent contractors. It's up to us if we want to get better, if we want to improve. And one thing I will tell you, that a quote that always lives in my mind is, if you become more valuable to the marketplace is always going to choose you, right? And that's an old Jim Rohn quote from back in the days, and it always stuck with me. So I always look at how can I be more valuable? How can I bring more value? And then, it's that old theme, right? Oh, you seem like you're so lucky. Goes, yeah, I noticed the harder I work, the luckier I get. Go figure.
I love that. So for the viewers and listeners out there, that's something to take in consideration, right? What type of value you're putting out there so you can receive that back, and just showing up and showing out. And at the end of the day, I feel like because of this market shift, those that are relentless and just they have no wavering beliefs, they know for a fact that they're obsessive with their business, they're going to win, and we're all going to win in this type of market. And you have to be in that mindset. So I think that's absolutely amazing, Frank. So as we close up, I'll just ask you one more question. We'll open the floor up for you. You can leave the viewers and listeners with anything that you want to leave for them. Something caught my attention. I thought it was so cool. You said that whatever it is that you do, you want to make sure you're like having fun doing it. Like just anything. It doesn't matter if it's work or video or this or that. We talked about listing videos, like you're getting in that movie room, you're making those eggs and so on and so forth. So what did it take for you to get to that place of like, because I know people are dealing with whatever. They could be stressed out about bills or this or that, or hearing the FUD in the marketplace and forgetting just the basics. Like have fun with whatever the hell you're doing. So how did you get to that place? And have you always been there? Like,
yes and no. So one, I came from nothing. Single mom, right? Dad left when I was 5. We struggled, all that stuff. Wrong part of town, right? So always constantly striving for more because we didn't have anything. So the drive has always been there. That's the foundation for me. I genuinely am always positive. We see the glass half versus empty. Like my wife knows, very few people know this. No matter what's going on in life, like up here, there's always a party going on in my head. Like no matter what, there's a good time happening up here. And so and I thought I couldn't do that in a professional setting. Like that's wrong, and I don't know where I created that, but I want to say right around when the market all tanked in 08 and 09 and 010, after that is when I had I was like, I'm tired of trying to be this other professional person with my suit and tie and all this stuff, right? And I want to just start being me, and whoever wants to work with me is going to work with me. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be gregarious. I'm going to be smart aleck, a smart ass, funny, but also caring and compassion. But then at the same time, I'm going to bring my good energy and good vibes onto people. You're struggling, Norman? No worries. I got you. Let's ask you a few questions. Let me help you get past that, right? You're having a tough time with something, Dan? No worries. I got you here. Let's see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I can't convince you or change your circumstances. But in terms of for our business, for real estate, if you have a goal to get here and you're stopping yourself, because that's what I see a lot of people do, stop themselves moving forward. I know with asking the right questions and having the right solutions and having enough experiences, I can show you the light at the end of the tunnel. And so it's anything I've learned can actually provide a lot of hope for people in a real estate setting. I'm not no guru, anything like that, but it's just, having a much better quality of life. As a matter of fact, I'm working on these shirts and sweaters that just say hope, right? Because of this new thing I'm going to do on with my YouTube channel. But that's a lot of the info that I'm giving is for hope, and for real estate, a lot of it stems with one of my books of business is expired and canceled listings. So that's where someone had their home up for sale. The agent, for whatever reason, didn't work out. You have to understand how chaotic and difficult that market is. It's met with so much hostility because of what they went through. Now what they think about realtors, and then everybody calling them, so they cannot stand you. So I've been able to still get through that, peel those onions, right? I talk with my hands, I'm sorry. Those layers of people's true core of, Norman, what are we really trying to accomplish here? Like, I get it. Be mad at me. Trust me, I don't like any of the other realtors myself. And I got to deal with these SOBs every day. So you should feel bad for me. You only had 90 days of this, right? What are we truly talking about? Because if I would have sold your home 90 days ago for, $1 million and you were moving to over here, what would that have done for your quality of life? Like, what are we really talking about here? Let's put all the bullshit aside about listing all that. And then from there, now we have a base because Norman knows, whoa, this guy's talking different. He actually cares about me and what I'm trying to accomplish. At least that's what I'm sensing. And there's a part, guys. This is all over the phone. I'm dealing with one sensory, the auditory sense. I'm not looking at you in the eye. Now, if I'm at your house, because I do door knock too, that's different. And, I'm a big guy, 6'4", 300 pounds. I got a deep voice. Like, I can be a little intimidating. But over the phone, that's a hard thing to do. So I've perfected that. But I've also learned, like, oh my God, so many people just need hope that we can actually do this, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of the direction I go with. If I can bring more value out of me to the market, it's like the old, I'm old school, the old Zig Ziglar quote: the more people you help get what they want, you get what you want. And I learned that very early on, man. So for me, that's what I bring. But honestly, that's just who I am too. So I don't know where that came from, though, you guys. I just know in real estate, I had to channel it. And now it's become a little bit more of me when I talk with people. We go a little deeper because I want to help. I don't like seeing people down. I don't like seeing people sad or whatever it may be. And if I could be of assistance through that, and my vehicle right now is real estate, I'm all for it. And with realtors, I think you have to remember we're more than just a real estate agent. We're more than just a mortgage. We are taking part in a portion of people's lives that is very significant. It's not insignificant. It's a big deal. So when you think about that, sometimes it'll make you rise to the occasion a little bit more so that you can be present and actually look at, how can I be a part of these people's lives, right? Every time we have a closing, I always send a note card with their gift, and in there, it literally says, Dan Norm, thanks so much for letting me be a part of this chapter of your lives. I know how significant it was. And I really ask that you guys took it upon yourself to give me that opportunity to be a part of that. And what the crazy part was, when I started doing that, all of my clients are friends now. Like, wow. 90% of them are all friends. Even the ones that have left the state. You bring the family, you guys have a place to stay. Like, that's really cool. That really brings me joy, and that, I'll tell you a quick story. The first transaction happened. And when I fell in love with this business was I'm sorry, not first transaction. One of the transactions I did where I fell in love with this industry was when the client called me and said, Frank, I'm at the hospital. And I was like, holy shit, is everything okay? Right? Their deal closed 2 months ago. And he's like, yeah, we're having our baby. And I said, oh, is everything okay? Because I'm like, why are you calling me? Right? And by the way, I'm like 20 years old. And so being a kid, I was like, not the dad, I promise you. Like, I touch your wife? What the hell is going on? Right? Because I was a young punk kid. And he said, no, Frank, you don't understand. We never thought we were going to be homeowners. But because of you, we can now bring this baby home to our own home. So thank you. Wow. You mean so much to me and my wife. And I was like, I had this emotion come up that I'd never experienced before. Right. And that was back when the commission was like $1,200, you guys. Wow. And I was like, that feeling, like, how do I get more of that? And then that's when I was like, this is what I'm doing. I was working 4 other jobs and real estate. I quit all those other jobs, cold turkey for real estate, and the rest is history. I mean, so that's when I knew, for me, like, that's an interesting benefit that I didn't know existed in a transaction that fills my tank of what I need. So
wow,
that drives me too.
That's
amazing.
Didn't
use too much time, guys.
No, you're good. So party in the head, the 5 love languages, which ties into the self-esteem bank account. So it sounds like they really help you bump that self-esteem bank account. And at the end of the day, money is monetary, and moment in time is a part of your legacy that people will always remember. And I love that you're setting that foundation for generations to come to be like, Frank's your guy. You got to use Frank. So that's amazing. So viewers and listeners out there, definitely rewatch that segment again. So last but not least, we want to leave the floor over to you, man. We're done. We're finishing out here, and we went a little over, but hey, when you're having fun and there's a party up here, you keep moving. So,
nobody ever wants the party to stop, brother. So I get it. And,
hey,
and neither do I, right? But thank you guys for the opportunity. I love your platform. I love what you guys are doing. That's why I really appreciate you guys even considering and reaching out to me. That means a lot. Obviously, I'm in the city of Yorba Linda, Orange County, California. If anybody has any referrals this way, would love to assist with them. If you're local and you're an agent and you need assistance with me, go to deal, you split it 50-50. Guys, I do that. I've done that for a dozen agents. There's plenty of business out here for all of us. And I remember being back in the days, going to agents saying, I got this deal, I don't know what to do. And they would push me aside. And I told myself, when I get to a point in life, this business, I'm good, I'm not going to do that to other people, right? Because I know everybody's starting out. So we've actually done 3 deals last year like that. We've got 2 in the pipeline right now from 2 agents in, they're at other brokerages and they're in different cities. They're like, oh, you're a deal man and you're the guy, I need you to come with me. All good. We'll go and we take care of that. So if anybody needs my help there, let me know. And, thanks so much for the opportunity, guys.
Dude, I love that. Links are down below. Follow, like, subscribe, check it out. YouTube channels behind me. Frank, we appreciate you. You're amazing. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Peace.
Dan, thanks for co-hosting as always. And you made it to the end. Internet's still there.
I think they're done doing what they need to do.
Good. Awesome. And viewers and listeners, was that helpful? Give us your feedback, comment below, subscribe, hit the notification bell as we go live every Friday, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, and also on Monday with our brand new YouTube series that we just started and kicked off. We appreciate you. And we hope you can take something that you apply from today's episode of your business and more massive success. And we will see you on the next one.